Hi, my name is Jessica Wright. This is my lab video for the axial skeleton. So first we're going to start with, where did my pencil go? First we're going to start with the cranial bones. So we have our frontal, so you can see it right here. It's basically our forehead. And what that is just right here, and we have our suture line right across, kind of like where a headband would be. Next is the parietal. So parietal, there's two of them on either side. So we have a suture line going right down the middle, and then parietal, parietal. Next we have the occipital. And the occipital is just the back of the head. There's a suture line going this way. It's right here. You can feel it. You got the external occipital protuberance. And this, what it does, it's like an attachment site for a lot of the muscles and tendons that help control our neck and forward and backward, side to side. So it's really important. Next we have the temporal. So the temporal is, again, two of them on either side. So this basically goes right here. And then on the other side, right here. Next we're going to go into the external view. So we have the temporal mandibular joint. So it's the temporal mandibular joint. So right here, this is where it articulates. That helps obviously with chewing. Next we have the mastoid process. The mastoid process is this projection right there. And then we have the styloid process. You can see it, there's a little bone sticking out right there. That's styloid process. And an external acoustic meatus, and that is right there. That is where our ear is at. Next we have the squamous part, and the squamous part is just the suture that for the temporal and then parietal. Internal view, so the petrous part of the temporal bone, that, you can see if we can take this guy's head off, is on the inside. Make sure it identifies correctly. So the temporal part is just this area right here, kind of back where the ears would be. That's the petrous part, and what that is for, it's the essential parts of the organ of hearing lie right in that area, right there. And then we have the internal acoustic meatus, so it's kind of hard to point out because there's no actual holes, but you can see there's a little indentation right there. So that is obviously a part of the ear also. Passages through that are cranial nerves 7 and 8 for sensory of our hearing. Next is the external view, lateral and orbital parts of the greater wings, so the sphenoid. So, external view, let me put the guy's head back on. Am I doing this right? Okay, there we go. So the sphenoid bone. So the sphenoid bone is going to be directly back in the eye socket. I wish my guy was color-coded like a book. But they're just these little bones that kind of help make up the eye socket. The supraorbital fissure, so there's an opening back there, or there should be. In the skeleton, there really isn't. You can kind of see it in there. That is an opening for muscles for eye movement, so it helps control our eyes. And then in the internal view, we have the lesser and greater wing. Let's see if you can see this. So it kind of goes where the suture line is for our frontal and parietal. So it's going to be like right in this area on either side. Okay, next we have the optic canal. So again, the skeleton doesn't really do a good job about pointing that out, but it's basically just the hole. You can kind of see it. That optic canal, that's the optic nerve goes through. And we have the sella turcica, which is a fossa. You can't really see it on our skeleton guy, but we're just going to look in here anyways. So it's going to be right kind of in the middle. I'm sorry, not very good at this. So the sella turcica, the sphenoid bone, is going to be towards the suture line of where the temporal and, not temporal, frontal and parietal meet up. It's kind of like in the middle right here, and what's housed in there is the pituitary gland. Now we're going to go on the ethmoid bone. The ethmoid bone, we have the crista galli. And what the crista galli does, it's, what does it do? The dura mater, which is the outermost part of the brain, attaches to the crista galli and helps secure the brain to the cranial cavity. And let's see if we can find that on our guy. So the crista galli, it's going to be, again, towards the front. Actually, maybe I should just show you my book. I think I'll do that. That'd be easier. So, if you can see it, the crista galli, the name is right there. It's going to be right in the very front. Next, we have the cribriform plate. And the cribriform plate helps form the roof of the nasal cavities, the floor of the anterior cranial fossa, and it allows the olfactory nerves to pass through the brain. So the cribriform plate, again, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's part of the ethmoid bone. It's going to be directly next to the nose. So I'm going to say the roof of the nasal cavity. So that's going to be actually right here. You can see that, sorry. The roof of the nasal cavity. And then hopefully I can go through sutures before I get to 10 minutes. So sutures, we have the coronal suture, and this is the frontal parietal. Then we have the sagittal suture. No, I'm sorry. This is coronal, sagittal. This separates the right and left parietals. And then we have the lambdoid, which is the one in the back, the lambdoid suture, which is occipital parietal. And then we have the squamous suture, which is the temporal, right here on the side. So that would be the squamous suture between the parietal and the temporal. So I'm going to stop right here, because I'm getting close to 10 minutes. We'll go on to the facial bones next.